Hey guys, this week we're down the beautiful East Cape, and right now I'm driving from La Paz down to Los Corrales in the East Cape, where we're going to be staying at Hotel Palmas de Cortez, and we're just going over the mountain here in between La Paz that kind of divides the Pacific side from the Sea of Cortez side. Normally we fly into Los Cabos, and then it's only like a 40-minute van ride to the resort up to the East Cape. But today we want to do something different, so we flew into La Paz, rented this car, and I thought we'd show you a little bit of the drive, what it's like down here. We're coming up to a little village right here, and beautiful little village. So we're gonna head through here, keep going. We got about another hour to go, and this week's episode we're gonna be in the East Cape here at Hotel Palmas de Cortez. We're going to be fishing along the beach, looking for the smaller dorado, smaller tuna, and then later in the episode we're going to go offshore and see if we can find a billfish, maybe a sailfish, or a striped marlin, blue marlin. You never know. Sometimes out there too we find the bigger dorado. So enjoy the drive and stay tuned for this week's exciting episode of Sport Fishing. I'm Dan Hernandez, and I live to fish.
All right.
I have been fishing along the Pacific coast my entire life.
Oh!
Let me bring you in the action and share with you some great fishing tips along the way. And we've only been fishing about 3-4 minutes, got the lines in the water. We had a sailfish come right up. My dad's on it right now. So he's taking his time, just nice and easy. There you go, take your time. Stop, there you go, lift the rod up, wind down. He's right here on the surface. Take your time. Okay, here's a sailfish my dad just caught. We're gonna release it right now. Okay. Skipper thinks it's a blue. Ate one of the lures that I brought with me. There, oh, jumping right there. There he is jumping. Beautiful marlin. Oh, he's jumping. The blue marlin. Taking all kinds of line. I haven't stood up and fought a marlin in a couple years. This one is fighting hard. So I was fighting this fish for about 45, 50 minutes, blue marlin, and the captain thinks the fish actually died from the battle. So what they're doing right now is hand lining it up, and the deckhand is on the rod. They didn't want me to touch the rod during this process in case the fish isn't dead. So they're pretty sure it's dead because it's just dead weight. When the fish was fighting, running, we could, pull line, we get line off it, and then for about 5 minutes it just sat down on the bottom like dead weight. So they're lifting it straight up right here. The captain, Martin's got the line coming up here, and we're gonna see if we can see the fish. Normally, this doesn't happen too often, but lots of times blue marlin will do this. They'll fight as hard as they can until their heart blows up. And this is a nicer fish. This is more about 250, 300 pound blue marlin. So I jumped a bunch of times. He just went straight down, kept his head down as hard as he could. I was pulling on him, and they just went to dead weight. So that's why we think the fish might be dead. And the captain's not having any trouble lifting it. He's just hand over hand, just straight up. So it's probably dead. Ah, he's skimming back to life. This is the blue marlin that I caught, and he died on us. He's about 300 pounds, about 275, 300 pounds. Beautiful big blue marlin. It's a nice fish there. So we're gonna take him back in and divide it with everybody that's in our group with us and let them take it home and eat it. You don't want to waste a fish like this. And a blue marlin and black marlin, they both taste really delicious. But the goal on these trips is always to release these fish. But like you saw, this fish came up dead. We didn't have a choice. We're gonna have to go ahead and take it back in, let everybody eat it. Just saw a marlin on the surface, so the skipper slowed down. We're circling around where that fish is, and our deckhand here just dropped back a ballyhoo, a dead bait, right up on the surface. So we're seeing if we can get in front of that marlin. He was right around here. So hopefully he was just on the surface. It's getting a little bit later in the morning now. It's only about 10 o'clock. Breeze is starting to pick up. And as a rule, when the breeze picks up a little bit, the sailfish and the marlin like to lay up on the surface or cruise on the surface, and they like that sun, and they like that wind to hit their sail, and it just kind of makes them feel good. The other reason they come up on the surface and cruise is lots of times they'll go down deep, maybe 500,000 feet, eat giant squid, stuff like that up down deep, but they can't digest it that deep. So they have to come up to the surface where there's no pressure on their belly and stuff, where they can digest that food. So we just saw that marlin right here just cruising. We've already caught a couple of fish so far today, a couple of billfish. We're gonna see if that marlin will stay up on the surface and see our ballyhoo. Sometimes when they're on the surface like that and they're digesting food, they're so full they don't want to eat, but we never know. Sometimes It might just be a marlin just traveling on the surface, cruising to another location. But we saw his tail out of the water, and that's why we're looking right now. See if he comes up behind the ballyhoo. This week in the Tackle Box, I want to talk to you a little bit what we're doing today down the East Cape. I want to talk to you a little bit about rods and reels, but really don't panic about not having the right rods and reels when you go down on a trip like this or a trip like this that I'm hosting, because the resorts provide the tackle for you. Back in the old days when it was easier to travel with rod cases, we would just take our own rods. But because the airlines charge so much now, we just use the rods and reels that are on the boat. But if you are going to bring something, I would suggest bring your own reels so you have nice fresh line on them. Now for drop back fishing and fishing for the tuna and dorado, I like something like this, a smaller 2-speed. I like to use this a lot for dropping back for the marlin when they come up behind the lures, and the sailfish. They work good for the tuna and the large dorado too. And the 2-speed really helps a lot when you get that big fish. When he's right below you, press the button and just have him come right up like a cartwheel. Now as far as artificials when we're trolling, looking for the blue marlin, you need big lures, something like this. It looks huge, and it is huge, but to a 200 or 400 pound blue marlin, it's like a little French fry. These pop out of the water, looks like a dorado or a fish escaping, trying to escape from them, and they pounce all over it. And this is another color that works out really good too. It looks like the skipjack there in the water, bounces, the flathead makes the lure pop out of the water, and it's deadly for this type of fishing. Again, don't panic about not owning all the right equipment. The boats will provide it for you down there. If you're going to bring anything, bring a reel or two that you like to use, and then also bring some terminal gear, maybe some hooks, some swivels, fluorocarbon, stuff like that, leader material, and you'll be all set. Well, let's get back on the water and show you more exciting action right here on Sport Fishing. So we just had a strike on a marlin. I'm not sure if it's a marlin or sailfish. I think it's a small striper. I didn't really get a good look at it. Came up, hit the trolling lures, didn't want them, spit them out. So we dropped back a ballyhoo, dead ballyhoo, and he came up and ate it right next to the boat. But he's got most of my line out now. I'm down to Spectra. So we're gonna have to back up here a little bit and get him. Now we're gonna back down a little bit. There he's jumping. Right on the surface. Nice little marlin. This is my favorite size reel to use for this. 16S, 2-speed. Perfect for drop back. Here he is right here. All right. Here's a little striped marlin. Here's a little striped marlin I just caught. Got on the ballyhoo. He wouldn't eat the lures, but he ate the ballyhoo. Beautiful little fish. We're gonna let it go right now. Release. There he goes. That was a perfect size little striped marlin to catch. Lots of fun. Get them in about 10-15 minutes, and just brought it nice and easy. Well, let's take a little break from the action here in the East Cape and go to the galley and show you how to cook up one of these fish we're catching today. This week in the galley, we're in downtown Los Angeles. Little restaurant here. It's in a big Bacarlo with different types of restaurants and shops. Standing next to me is Garberto. He's the owner. We're in Hobush, And thanks for inviting us down.
Hi, Dan. Thank you guys for coming down here.
And this is a really unique location, so close to USC.
It is. It's a food hall close to USC Expo Park. Has 5-6 restaurants, all family owned, doing regional ethnic specialties. And you can also do some shopping and do some eating.
And what do you have in store for us today?
So we're going to do one of the most popular regional Mexican seafood dishes, which is ceviche.
Okay.
And we're going to use this beautiful yellowtail, local yellowtail, Channel Islands. So we're going to cut this guy, boom. Just do. Now we don't want to chop up the fish for ceviche. We want to make some nice big chunks. So when it marinades and it's denaturing in the lime juice, you can still feel and see the pieces of fish. It's not ground meat or ground. So this is for about a single portion, right? For one person. We're gonna get the fish in a bowl. We're gonna use a lime, maybe 2. We'll see. Depends on how juicy they are. But what you want is you want to make sure you have enough lime juice that coats the fish, and there's a little bit extra lime juice on the bottom of the bowl. You don't want it swimming or completely covered in lime juice. It'll be too acidic, and it'll overcook it also. We're gonna add some salt at this point. This is just some kosher salt, and the salt also helps break down the fish. It helps denature the protein. So the lime, the acid, and the salt, that's what's gonna start to, people say cook, right? So denature the protein, give it that cooked appearance and cooked texture. To this, we're gonna add the typical ingredients of ceviche. So finely minced red onion. We're gonna do some finely cut tomatoes. I like to use the tomatoes skin on, seeds, everything, a whole shebang. Some cilantro. Okay. We're gonna plate it up, so we like to plate it up, so it looks nice. And we think presentation is very important when you're, selling the product. So we're gonna do a little bit of this red sauce that we use for our ceviche. And we're gonna spoon the ceviche right on top of the sauce. We're going to do a little bit of microgreens, micro herbs. Give it a different flavor of cilantro and a lot of freshness. We're gonna do some avocado puree because we have them available right now and they're delicious. Some finger limes. Finger limes native to Australia, and you squeeze out the little pearls. So that is our yellowtail ceviche here at Holbox in Mercado La Paloma. Sometimes it'll be different fish. It's fish of the day. Sometimes it's halibut. Sometimes it's local white sea bass. I love local white sea bass. But today it's a beautiful yellowtail ceviche prepared very simply, presented, I think nicely.
Looks wonderful.
And want to take a bite?
Roberto, that's so good.
Thanks.
All the flavors, the sauce, the avocado, the lime, it all really pops through.
Yeah, and then you can really play around with this at home. This is your base. This is where the ceviche starts. You can add shrimp, you can add octopus, you can add clams, you can add uni, anything.
Yeah.
Crab.
But just fresh, local yellowtail like this?
Absolutely.
That's perfect.
My favorite ceviche is whatever fish is local, just the fish, delicious.
And what I always tell people, fresh fish like this has no odor, no smell. And people always ask me, when you go to market, how can you tell to buy good fish? And I always tell them, if it smells like fish, don't buy it.
Right.
And this is delicious. And there's no odor, it's just the flavors from biting into it. Really good. And people can find out about your restaurant where?
So you can find us on Facebook, Holbox Los Angeles. Also Instagram, same handle, Holbox Los Angeles. Or just Google Holbox Los Angeles, go to our website, and you can get all the information about our schedules, menus, seasonal menus that we're doing, tasting dinners, all that.
Well, this is delicious. I really enjoyed this little environment in here. Thanks for inviting us down. Also,
Thanks,
a viewer
Dan.
of the TV show. Let's get back on the water and show you more exciting action right here on Sport Fishing. This marlin's coming up pretty good. Got pretty good troll of them. It's right up and down. So I'm gonna let my dad pull on it a little bit. sure you want to pull on this?
Sure. Why not?
All right, it's kind of tough. This is my dad.
What do we come for?
All right. Put that hand in front. Put your left hand in front. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, turn the handle on the way down.
It's locked.
No, it's not.
It's locked.
It's not a monster, but it's a nice size. Been doing a lot of jumping by the boat. There he is right there. There he's jumping. Right there. Yeah. Yeah. Here's a striped marlin I just caught. Beautiful little fish. Captain Martin did a great job. Deckhand did a great job. We're going to release this fish right now, and we're going to take a little break. And when we return, I'll be giving you this week's tip of the week. So this week's tip of the week, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we caught all the fish today. It was really simple fishing. We got 2 of those fish on Zucker 3.5s, trolling them right behind the boat, and that blue marlin and that sailfish came up and ate them. The other 2 striped marlin that we caught, they were both taken on dead ballyhoos that we were slow trolling behind the boat. And the one I caught on a drop back, that little marlin came up, swiped at a lure, didn't eat it. We dropped back that ballyhoo and he ate it. And that's this week's tip. So bring a selection of baits with you and make sure you have good hooks so you can use that drop back technique to catch those fish. Well, I want to thank the Van Warmer family for taking care of us and hosting us on this trip. I've known them for many, many years. They've always been nice to me, and we had lots of fun fishing here. Well, I'm Dan Hernandez, hoping you enjoyed this week's episode of Sport Fishing, and I hope you join us again next week as we go looking for more of the best in sport fishing.